Om. 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 शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। Hari Om, a blissful Monday morning to every one of you. Welcome to this beautiful, most attractive, holiest of the holy temples which is within our own selves. My loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of my Guru, Papa Swami Ramdas of Anandashram, Kanjangad, Kerala, and my beloved parents. The composer of TATTVABODHA is Bhagavatpada Adi Shankaracharya. We offer our salutations to him and chant the Shanti mantra of Taittiriya Upanishad and start today's 12th session. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now we have understood what is Sadhana Chatushtaya: discrimination, discipline, desire and dispassion. These are the four requirements of qualities to understand Tattvabodha or Upanishad. Then the student asks about what is Atma. Then the Guru says that it is different from 3 bodies, 5 koshas, and it is witness to the 3 states, that is Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti state. We have seen what all these are. What are Shariratrayam means there are 3 bodies: gross body or Sthula Sharira, subtle body or Sukshma Sharira, and causal body or Karana Sharira. Then we have seen Avasthatraya. What are they? This also we have seen. And what are Panchakoshas? Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. This is division from one perspective. From another perspective, we have seen Shariratraya. So the outermost layer, sheath, is Annamaya Kosha, which represents Sthula Sharira. So Annarasenaiva Bhutva, Annarasenaiva Vriddhim Prapya. It is born because of the essence of food. Similarly, it is growing because of the essence of food. Finally, it merges in this earth, which is nothing else other than the same Anna Rupa. Prithvi is nothing but, or the earth is nothing but Anna Rupa. So finally, this Annamaya Kosha merges in the same earth. That Kosha is Annamaya Kosha, which is same as Sthula Sharira. Then he talks about the Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha. These 3 put together is Sukshma Sharira. The Annamaya Kosha can be taken as anatomical personality of a person. Then, now the first part of Sukshma Sharira is Pranamaya Kosha, which consists of 5 pranas and 5 karmendriyas. These 10 organs put together, it becomes Pranamaya Kosha, physiological personality. What exactly does it do that we have seen? It is Kriya Shakti. It represents Kriya Shakti. The next layer is Manomaya Kosha, or psychological personality of a human being. That consists of Manas plus 5 Jnanendriyas. And this represents Ichha Shakti. The inner layer of Sukshma Sharira is Vijnanamaya Kosha, which consists of Buddhi and 5 Jnanendriyas. So Jnanendriyas are common in Manomaya Kosha and Vijnanamaya Kosha. Now these three koshas, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, these three put together is Sukshma Sharira. Pranamaya represents Kriya Shakti, Manomaya Kosha represents Ichha Shakti, Vijnanamaya Kosha represents Jnana Shakti. In this world, whatever we do is consisting of Jnana, Ichha, Kriya. If we want to get some desire, we should have knowledge about that particular object. I cannot desire an object which is unknown to me. If I don't have any knowledge about a particular object, it is definitely not possible for me to desire for it. So in this life, what we are doing is gain knowledge about something, desire for it, and then work to achieve that or fulfill that desire. That is why Jnana Shakti first comes. Then comes Ichha Shakti. Then it is Kriya Shakti. And all these are blessings by God. Jnana is blessing. Even Ichha. Many a times people say that we should not have desires. It is not so. Our Sanatana Dharma, our Vedas, our Upanishads do not say that. But they are advising. Sanatana Dharma is advising us to refine our desires. Refinement of the desire should be a continuous process for us till we reach the final desire of mumukshutva. The last and final desire of all of us should be moksha. May not be in this janma or may not be in some more janmas, but later at least we should have this kind of desire. This is the only desire. I don't have any other desires. That should be a desire. So here, gain the knowledge. If I want to desire for moksha, I should know what it means. I should study TATTVABODHA for it. I should study Upanishad for it. Otherwise, I will be desiring for a sari or for a jewelry or for any house or any worldly objects. Once we come closer to this moksha and get to know the knowledge, have the knowledge of moksha and who am I? What is Atma? When we get to know this, slowly, maybe very, very slow, but still, it will definitely happen that we are slowly getting detached from the worldly desires and getting attached to this kind of desire that I should be liberated. I should attain this liberation. So for that, we should know what it means. So knowledge is definitely important. Then that desire should be there. Even if you have the knowledge, that desire should come in me. That is why Ichha Shakti is definitely a blessing and Kriya Shakti. That is why we worship Lalita Mata as Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, Swarupini. She herself is there in all these Shaktis. So definitely it is a blessing for all of us if at all we can gain knowledge about anything. Now we are refining our desires. Our karma is there, but it should be towards this spiritual, highest level of spirituality, which we call it as liberation. And the last one he says it is Anandamaya. In Vijnanamaya, Buddhi and Jnanendriya. Now in Anandamaya Kosha, it is similar to Karana Sharira. So he says that Karana Sharira Bhuta, it is a form of Karana Sharira. Then Avidyasta Malina Sattvam, impure. It is impure knowledge or impure sattva. This also we have seen what we mean by impure sattva. What is sattva, raja, tama will be explained by Adi Shankaracharya at the end of this particular Tattvabodha, but we already know about it. We have studied it in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga. So, to put it in a nutshell, Sattva is knowledge, Rajo or Rajoguna is creating or active, being active or doing something, doing some action is Rajoguna, and Tamoguna is inertia. Everything in this world is a mixture of Sattva, Raja and Tama. Whether it is a Jnani or a Ajnani, whether it is an inert object or a live object, everything is mixture of these three gunas. In what proportion it is there, that is differ. In each one it differs. So here he says Malina Sattva. Sattva is there, but it is Malina Sattva. Rajoguna, he has not talked about it, because when we are in this Anandamaya Kosha, which is similar to form of Karana Sharira, the example for Karana Sharira, we have taken it as the deep sleep state. When we are in the deep sleep state, we are extremely happy and we are ignorant. We don't have knowledge about anything, but once we get up, we say that I did not know anything. That means there is a knowledge about ignorance. So that knowledge is Malina Sattva, impure Sattva. Why impure? Because Tamoguna is there now. It is not pure Sattva. Rajoguna is zero because the body, mind, buddhi, nothing is working. We are not doing any action when we are in deep sleep state. Similarly, this Anandamaya Kosha is, he calls it as Malina Sattva. Sattva guna is, little of Sattva guna is there, but it has become impure because of the presence of Tamoguna. So you can say that it is of the nature of impure Sattva, Ananda Maya Kosha. Then Priyadi Vritti Sahitam. It is united with the thoughts like a Priya, Adi, etc. We call this as Vrittis. What are the rest of the Vrittis? He has not mentioned, but it is mentioned in some other Upanishad. Priya, Moda, Pramoda. I have given a very easy example to understand these three levels of happiness. We have levels of happiness. Sometimes we are slightly happy, then happier, then happiest. So the same way, the different degrees are Priya, Moda, Pramoda. Pramoda is superlative. Moda is comparative degree. So Priya is when I see an object which I want to have or which I love to have. I have seen a person wearing one particular type of sari, which I fell in love with that sari. I want to buy that sari. So when I go to the shop, that salesman shows me that sari only first. Then what happens? Wow, I'm so happy. That level of happiness is called as Priya. And then I pay money and buy that sari. Now that has become my sari. I possess that sari. Till I get it, till I pay and get it, it is not my sari. I have only one level of happiness which we call it as Priya, which is Darshana Sukham. By looking at that, you have derived some happiness. That is Priya. Now by possessing, by Grahana Sukham, I am possessing that. So this particular level of happiness is called as Moda, which is called as Moda, that is Grahana Sukham. I have purchased that sari. It has become mine now. I possess that now. So this is Moda. And the third one is when I wear that sari. Highest level of happiness. And especially if somebody compliments me, then that is the highest level of happiness. So it is only an example that I am giving. So different levels of happiness, which is Priyadi Vritti Sahitam Sat Anandamaya Koshaha Etat Kosha Panchakam. So he has explained about the three shariras, 5 koshas and 3 avasthas. And then he has earlier said that it is something beyond that, bhinna, different from this. And he says Sachidananda Swarupa. So now let us see what he says. Madiyam shariram madiyaha pranaha madiyam manascha madiya buddhihi madiyam ajnanam iti svenaiva jnayate tadyatha madiyatvena jnatam kataka kundala grihadikam swasmat abhinnam tatha panchakoshadikam swasmad bhinnam madiyatvena jnatam atma na bhavati. So before going to this particular explanation, I would like to give some other explanation. Now we have seen that the Sthula Sharira is made up of 5 bhutas, which is nothing but matter. Matter is like some of the elements, made of some of elements, what we study in chemistry, periodical table. It gives a list of elements. So any matter is made up of these elements. Some combination of different kinds of elements is called as matter. Similarly, Sukshma Sharira also is made up of Panchabhutas. That means that is also matter. Matter and energy. Then Karana Sharira, which is a cause of Sthula and Sukshma Sharira, definitely that is also subtle form of Panchabhutas, which means that is also matter. So all the 3, Sthula, Sukshma, Karana, all these are matter or something material. Now we know that matter is insentient, which means it cannot feel, it cannot sense. For example, a glass is here. Does it have any feeling? Does it have any senses? Can it feel? Can it experience? It cannot experience, we know this. Any inert object is insentient, which means it cannot feel, it cannot be aware of any senses. This is the nature of matter. Now what about the body? This body, Sthula Sharira, is made up of Panchabhutas. So how is it different from this glass? This also consists of elements. This body also consists of elements. A pot made out of clay and this body are not different. That comes from Panchabhutas. This also comes from Panchabhutas. Then, body is made up of elements, we know this. How do we know? When we have any problems in the body or we are sick, we go to the doctor and the doctor says that iron deficiency, calcium deficiency, sodium, magnesium. You take food which consists of more of magnesium because magnesium is less in your body. That is why you are facing this problem. Calcium, isn't it? So this body is made up of all these kind of elements which we call it as chemical elements. So this body is nothing but chemistry. We can probably call it as biochemistry, consisting of all this kind of elements only. We eat idlis. So I have an idli on the plate. Is it an object? It is a matter consisting of elements. It does not have any sentiency. It is insentient. Idli on my plate is insentient. I eat that idli. it gets digested, and our scriptures say that it is divided into 7 dhatus. About these dhatus, we have already learnt in the 12th chapter of Lalita Sahasranama, Tvakstha. Tvak. Tvak is skin. So it says that one of the dhatus is skin. Similarly, it is blood, flesh, bone marrow, all these things we have studied already. So, the food that we consume is converted into this kind of 7 dhatus. So, the idli that I have taken yesterday has become part of me. It was idli when it was on my plate. Once I have consumed that idli, it is no more idli now. It gets digested and then becomes a part of my skin, my blood, my bone marrow or fat, etc. It has become my dhatus or part of my body. Now, do we feel insentient or sentient? I can sense the world. I can feel, I can experience. Just now we said that this body is also matter because it is made of Panchabhutas, so definitely it is a matter. We know that matter is insentient, which cannot have any senses. It cannot experience. A matter can never experience by itself. Now, idli is a matter. Idli that is taken has become a part of my body. Now my body is able to experience. Or we have the senses. What does it mean now? The body I am able to experience. My mind, my buddhi I am able to experience. I am sure you are able to understand what we mean by experience. I am able to touch and feel my body. I have that senses, I have the feeling. I can hear, I can see. So I have this kind of senses working in me. And we have learnt it is a body which is only a matter which is insentient. Then where am I getting this sentiency from? Our scriptures say that this body borrows sentiency from an independent principle which should be non-material. I repeat that body by itself is matter or elements, chemistry, which cannot have any sentiency of itself. Sentient means feeling or experiencing or sensing. If it is only a matter, if it is only consisting of Panchabhutas, then this body also should have become insentient. But I can say that I am able to feel my body. I am able to feel. I have the senses. I can see. I can understand. I cannot understand. All this I am able to receive or be aware of these senses. Which means this body has become sentient. How? It is borrowing sentiency from an independent principle which is not dependent on this body. So we call this as an independent principle which is non-material. If that is also material, then that also is insentient. I hope you are able to understand. This has to be again and again we have to contemplate on that. Body is matter. Any matter is insentient. glass that I am holding in my hand is matter or chemicals. It is insentient. It cannot have any feelings. It cannot have senses. It cannot be aware of its senses. Similar to this is my body, made up of chemicals, but I know that I have my senses. I can feel, I can experience. If it was similar to glass, it also should have been insentient, but it is now sentient. How it has become sentient now? That means, that is what the scriptures say, it is borrowing that sentiency from an independent principle which must be non-material. Why we should say it must be non-material? Because if that is also, that independent principle also is something material, then that also will be insentient. How can it give me sentiency when that itself is insentient? So we understand that that principle which is independent of the body, mind and etc., that is by itself has got that sentiency. By itself it is consciousness. Scriptures call this independent principle which is non-material, which has got its own intrinsic consciousness as Atma. Rest everything is Anatma. To give an example, I've already given this example in one of the sessions earlier, in one of the different examples. Moon. All of us see moon in the night. We say moonlight. We have given a beautiful name to that as Chandrika. In some Sanskrit, Chandrika means moonlight or shining of the moon. Now, moon is not a star. Sun is a star. Only stars have their own light. Planets do not have their own light. We are living in the Earth planet. Earth does not have its own light. It receives light from sun. Earth is not having light of itself. Earth is a planet. Moon is not even a planet. In Sanskrita, we call this as graha. Bhumi, all these are grahas. Moon is not, Earth is a, sorry, not a moon. Earth is a graha. Moon is not even a graha. It is a upagraha. Graha itself does not have light of itself. How can moon have light of itself? Moon is a satellite or upagraha which does not have its own light. Then where is this moonlight coming from? It is borrowing that light from sun. So moonlight is nothing but sun's reflection on this moon. Sun's reflection is on the moon, which we call it as moonlight. For us it is moonlight. When it is not its own light, when what we call moonlight is not moon's light, then we say that it is not a property of the moon. It is not a part of the moon. It is not a product of the moon. The first point from this example is moonlight is not a part, not a property, not a product of the moon. It is something independent principle called Surya Bhagavan. In this example, it is Surya, which is an independent principle which makes the moon shine. So the first point is moonlight is not a part and property or product of the moon. Second one is moon is borrowing the light from an independent principle and that principle makes the moon shine. This is the second point. And the third one, that light is not limited by the boundaries of the moon. It is not only there on the moon. It is not limited by the boundaries of the moon. It is existing. Even if moon disappears, that light continues to exist. That is the fourth point. It continues to exist even if moon disappears. Then, the last and important point is that it is in the unmanifest form. It is not that it is absent. It is not absent. It is existing, but there is no other material over there to reflect. Or we say that there is no reflecting medium. When moon was there, moon is reflecting that light. Now moon has disappeared. It is there. Reflection is there. But since there is no medium, we don't see that. Only when there is a medium, we will be able to see. To give an example for this particular point, assume that we have electricity in our house. I don't know whether current is there, supply is there or not. So what do? I switch on the light or fan. If it is working, then I know that power is there, current is there, electricity is there. What does it mean? Electricity exists, but to know whether it exists or not, I need one gadget there. If none of these gadgets, no light, no fan in the house, electricity supply is there, how do I get to know? Electricity supply is there, but I don't get to know whether it is there or not because I don't have any medium for it. No gadgets, which means no medium at all. Similarly, when the moon disappears, that light continues to exist. It is not absent. It continues to exist. But since there is no reflecting medium, it is not visible to us. So it is called as unmanifest, avyakta rupa. It is not absent. It is present, but it is not visible to us. These are the 5 points. I repeat that. First one is, moonlight is not a part, property or product of moon. Second point is, it is an independent principle which makes the moon shine or have that brightness. It is not the light of moon at all. It is the light from Surya which is reflecting on the moon. This is the second point, independent principle. And the third one, it is not limited by the boundaries of the moon. It is existing everywhere. It is not limited by the boundaries of moon. This is the third point. Fourth point is, it continues to exist even if moon disappears. Fifth point is, it is not visible to us because there is no reflecting medium. It is existing in unmanifest form. It is not that it is absent. No, it is not absent. These are the 5 points that we derive from this particular example. Now our scriptures bring this concept here to understand what Atma is or consciousness is. The first point here is, consciousness is not a part, property or product of this body. First point is, it is neither a part, nor a property, nor a product of this Sthula Sharira or body, mind, complex, whatever you can call, also you can see. All the Sharira Traya. That is the first point. Second point is, just now what we discussed, it is, I know that I am sentient. Yes, I know, I can experience, I can feel. That means there is a different independent principle which is non-material, which is sentient by itself. From that, I am borrowing that sentiency. That independent principle which pervades from top to bottom, it is pervading my body and enlivens. My body is living because of the presence of that reflected sentiency. My body by itself does not have sentiency, but it is borrowing from a non-material independent principle. That principle is what we call, scriptures call as Atma. This is the second point. Like sun, here it is Atma. Like moon, it is body here. Now the third point is, it is not limited by the body. Just like how that reflected light is not limited by the boundaries of moon, similarly, this sentiency is not limited. This Atma is not limited. This consciousness is not limited by the boundaries of this body. That is the third point. Fourth point is, if this body perishes, if this body gets destroyed, it continues to exist. Atma continues to exist. Consciousness continues to exist even if this body perishes. And the last point, when this body is not existing, consciousness continues to exist, but because this kind of medium is not existing, we are not able to interact. That means Atma is all pervading, sarvavyapi. It is existing everywhere. I repeat the 5 points once again. Consciousness is not a part, property, product of this body. This is the first point that we have to understand. It is not a part of this body at all. Second point is, there is an independent principle which makes this particular body live, which gives life to this material body, which makes this body derive that sentiency. So it is borrowed sentiency. This body does not have its own sentiency. It is borrowing from an independent non-material principle. This is the second point. And then the third point is, consciousness is not limited by the boundary of the body. It is within the body. It is outside the body. So we say within and without. Within the body as well as without the body. Outside the body also consciousness exists. It is not limited by the boundaries of the body. This is the third point. Fourth point is, if this body perishes, if this body gets destroyed, consciousness continues to exist. This is the fourth point. We said that yes, it is there. It is all pervading. It is pervading from the top of my body to the tip of the toe. It is existing. Or reflection is existing. Reflection of that independent principle continues to exist here. And the last important point is, the fourth point we said, when the body perishes, it continues to exist. Then why am I not able to see? Why am I not able to talk to that? Because there is no medium. The moment it gets the medium, once again it starts living. That means that independent principle gives light or life to this particular body, which is made of material or matter. So it is a materialistic body which does not have its own sentiency. It borrows sentiency from an independent principle which is non-material, which has got its own sentiency. That independent principle is given the name as Atma by our scriptures. We have to probably listen to this again and again to understand. We may understand, but we will forget. This is what my experience is. When we hear, very easy, yes, I can understand. But when we start contemplating, what were those points? How do I say that this is materialistic body? And how do I say that it is insentient? And from where does it get sentiency? We get once again confused. If there is any confusion, please post me your voice messages. Definitely I will answer to my best of my knowledge. So this is the comparison between moon, light and moon and sun principle. Similarly, comparison over here to understand that this body and that Atma, how they are different. Now we move on to understand that every individual is a mixture of Atma and Anatma. That independent principle is given the name as Atma. Rest everything we call this as Anatma. So every one of us is a mixture of Atma and Anatma. And now we understand that this body, mind, intellect complex, BMI complex, is not me. Till now, I have been saying that I am this, I am tall, I am happy, I am sad, I know, I don't know. What is that I there? Body or the mind or the senses or the intellect, etc. Now slowly we should start understanding that body is not me, mind is not me, intellect is not me, senses are not me. I am that independent principle. I continue to exist. No death, no birth at all. No beginning, no end at all. Birth is only taking a particular name and form and coming into existence in this earth. Even if you don't take birth, I still continue to exist. Even if I die, I continue to exist. Body, mind, intellect, everything is gone, but I continue to exist. So he said that I am different from the three shariras. The Sthula Sharira. Sthula Sharira is this body. Am I this body? So we have to start contemplating on this kind of topics. Am I this body? Kind of meditation. Vedanta gives Drik Drishya. This is a meditation. Very important principle in Vedanta. Drik Drishya Viveka. What is visible to me, what I can experience, is an object. I am not an object. Atma is not an object, it is the subject. I can experience, for example, I can see this glass. I can touch and feel the glass. Am I this glass? This is an object. I can touch, feel and experience this particular glass. Glass is an object. Am I this glass? No, I am not this. That we know. Look at the fan. Take any of these objects and yes, I can touch and feel and see. It's an object. What about my body? I can touch, feel, experience. Yes. So body is also an object. There is no difference between this glass and this particular body. Both are objects. And one fine day, this body is going back to those Panchabhutas. It has come Anna Rasenaiva Bhutva, Anna Rasenaiva Vriddhim Prapya. That is what is Annamaya Sharira or Sthula Sharira. One fine day, it has to go back to these Panchabhutas. When we understand that I am not this body, I am something different from this body, then we can give up this body easily without any attachment or understanding that I am not this body. Then what is the attachment to the body? So we should start training ourselves from today itself. Just for a fraction of a second, this body is made up of Panchabhutas. One day, I have to leave this body here. I should be grateful to the Panchabhutas for giving me this wonderful body, human body. We can start thanking them. Thanking the Panchabhutas for making this body, giving me this body. And a beautiful thank you note for giving me this body, which is an instrument. With the help of this body, I am able to interact with this beautiful world and learn Tattvabodha and understand that I am not this body. One day I will be dropping this body and I will travel further. I will continue to exist. So why should I have so much of attachment to this body which will be dropped, like how I dropped this glass here. I am going to drop this body. I will have to drop this body one day. Then why so much of attachment to the body? Similarly, what about the mind? I am not the mind. I can experience. I am not the sense organs. I am not the intellect. Sense organs, I am able to experience. How? Go to the eye specialist. You want to have a specs or change your specs. Then that doctor asks you, read this. So we start reading. Then next, smaller alphabets. Then we are not able to read. That means I know that capacity. I can experience that capacity. That capacity belongs to Sukshma Sharira. I can hear or I can't hear. I can know. I can experience this power, whether I can hear or not, whether I can see or not. All these are part of Sukshma Sharira. So I am able to experience that. If I can experience it, I am not that. I am the subject called Atma. I am not the object. Even a mind is object of experience. Anything that is object is not me, not Atma. This world is an object. I am seeing this world. Through my eyes, I am seeing this world. Assume that I am wearing a specs and I am reading some book or looking at something. Through the specs, I am seeing an object. Through the specs, I am seeing an object, that object which is far off. Specs is also an object which becomes intrinsic. It is very close to my intimate object. That is slightly far off object. Specs is intimate object. With the help of the specs, I am able to see that. Specs is an object which is intimate, and that bed or cot or that is also an object which is far off. Same way, body is an object which is very, very intimate, and the world is far away. With the help of this body, I am seeing the world. With the help of the sense organs, I am able to see or experience or feel the sense. How can I be sense organs then? I am using the sense organs. I am using the sense organs. I am using the body. When we are using something, that becomes only an object. So this Atma is the subject. Rest everything becomes object. Body, mind, intellect, sense organs, everything is object of experience. It can never be the subject. Little by little we go forward in this, saying that I am not this. So Veda says, Neti, Neti, not this, not this, not this, not this. That is you. That is me. Aham Brahmasmi. Not this, not this. Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham. Nacha shrotra jihve, nacha grana netre. Nirvana Shatka, Atma Shatka. If we understand the 6 shlokas from Atma Shatka, we understand the complete Vedas or Upanishads, Vedanta or Upanishads. Mano buddhya hankara chittani na aham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not that ego, I am not that memory or smriti. I am not any of the sense organs. Who am I? Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham Shiva. Shiva is Mangalamaya. Chit Ananda. We will see what they mean in the later sessions. Sat Chit Ananda. That Swarupa is this consciousness. The other name given to it is either Prajna or Atma, etc. So we have to once again and again, probably not once again and again, we have to contemplate on this 5 points which we have derived from the example of moon and sun or moonlight. Exactly, if you are able to understand that, the same principle can be applied here to body, mind, intellect complex, and that independent principle which is non-material, which has got consciousness as its own nature. Our granthas call this independent principle as Atma. Atma means, in Samskrita, Atma, the word Atma means self. Self is Atma. That is what I am. Even if we understand, it may be very difficult to assimilate that, It will take some more days to assimilate, contemplate on that. And then you can never say that I can experience that I. We can never experience that Atma because it is not an object of experience. It is the subject. I see. What is that I? I hear. It is not the body, mind and intellect. It is that Atma. So Atma is the one which is there everywhere. Where does it exist? We should ask the question where it does not exist. Then here in the space it is available. Yes, it is existing everywhere. Even better than this Akasha. That is why in the Kshetra Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna compares Atma with either one shloka, he compares it with light or brightness, and in another shloka, he compares it with the subtlest form of Panchabhutas. Is among the Panchabhutas, subtlest is Prithvi or Earth. Sorry, space. Prithvi is the grossest one. Space is the subtlest one. So he says, like how space exists everywhere, Atma also exists everywhere. In this body, Atma is existing. Without this body also, everywhere else also, Atma is existing. Why am I not able to feel? Because that medium is not existing. If I see another body, oh, one more Atma. We can count probably how many Atmas are around here. But it is not only in these living beings. It is there in inert objects also. It is Sarvavyapi, Vishwam. Everywhere it exists. Vishnu is Sarvavyapi. Similarly, Atma is existing everywhere. So we take very, very small steps in this particular concept and move forward along with chanting of Namasmaran. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu.